Italy bans unvaccinated children from school.
Here's a summary of the article.
Italian children have been told not to turn up to school unless they can prove they have been properly vaccinated. Parents risk being fined up to €500 if they send their unvaccinated children to school. Under Italy's so-called Lorenzen law, named after the former health minister who introduced it, children must receive a range of mandatory immunizations before attending school. Children up to the age of 6 years will be excluded from nursery and kindergarten without proof of vaccination under the new rules. In Bologna, the local authority has sent letters of suspension to the parents of some 300 children, and a total of 5,000 children do not have their vaccine documentation up to date. On Monday, the last day for parents to provide documentation proving their children had been properly vaccinated, the Italian health authority released figures claiming a national immunization rate at or very close to 95% for children born in 2015, depending on which vaccine was being discussed. Mr. Wakefield was struck off the UK medical register after fraudulently claiming there was a link between the measles, mumps and rubella vaccine and autism and bowel disease in children.
This post received a score of 120,811, with an upvote ratio of 87%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
Italian here. The debate on vaccines is quite toxic. The measure was made because some parents simply won't vaccinate their kids, and that is not safe. We had some kids die due to measles.
The first unvaccinated child I saw in my life was during my residency, around 5 years ago. Child of Brazilian parents, used to live in Italy and returned to Brazil. I had never heard of anti-vaccination before. I resolved the immediate issue, and refused further care until the child took the free and law-mandated vaccinations.
You know, I can see where anti-vax rhetoric comes from. People feel big pharma controls our lives for profit using our lack of understanding, and that does happen to some extent, e.g. the prescription drugs that play the biggest role in the opioids crisis, and it's our job to stand up to this process. But not like that. We're supposed to empower ourselves with learning, not fucking refuse everything we don't understand at first sight. That shit can drag us back and is doing so.
Something a lot of people don't consider is both the comfort of assigning blame to someone else rather than your own genetics, as well as the comforting effect of anti-vax rhetoric. They latched onto anti-vax rhetoric because it absolved them of whatever guilt they were feeling, and provided comfort that none of their future children would be autistic as well. They are both college-educated but, in a moment of weakness, clung to something that gave them comfort. Point being, I totally understand why people cling to anti-vax ideology. Fear is a very powerful motivator.
Have a son myself that is high-function ASD. My wife almost slipped into that world for our younger son, but I held firm on the logic of why it either didn't make sense, or was even not worth the risk of skipping. Also, I met parents that had not vaccinated their second child. The oldest had a legit bad reaction to vaccinations, so not because of autism fears, who went on to be autistic. Though I had already won the argument before learning this.
Yeah, the second paragraph there is true. I almost died when I had the MMR as an infant. Hospitalized, 105 to 106 degrees fever etc. After the first dose they never finished, they were too scared for good reason. They did still get my younger siblings vaccinated, however they broke up all the doses. They never finished mine and I had to hay them when I was in my early teens and knew my immune system could take it. But then again, when I was a kid, herd immunity was a thing since anti-vax didn't really exist in the 90s like it does now.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.